Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany. Thank you for tuning in to another episode this week. I am a registered holistic nutritionist and advanced fertility nutritional advisor, content creator, biohacker, obviously, and podcaster. And today's episode is all about second trimester biohacks. This is a really fun episode. I do these I've done a few of them. And so there are the ones for first trimester, and then there will be the ones for third trimester. So go back and listen to the first trimester ones. There is a experience episode and a biohacks episode for every trimester. So the experience episode is like my expectations versus realities and what I went through during those trimesters, how it actually impacted me. Very vulnerable episodes, very open and honest, and recorded actually during each trimester. So very applicable and relevant at the time, and same with this one. So definitely check those out. If you are pregnant, if you're thinking about getting pregnant, there is a lot of content there. And I split it up into 2 episodes per trimester because there was just too much to talk about and it would drag on. And I don't want to do a 2-hour show for this. So this one is complements the second trimester experience, the realities versus expectations episode that came out probably like a month ago or, however many weeks before this. So please listen to that as well, because then a lot of what I'm going to say is actually going to make more sense and you're going to be able to tie everything together. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned today, whether it's a service, a product, or anything like that, you can always reach out to me on Instagram at BioHackingBrittany. I respond to everybody. I might take a few days, but I do respond. And I know I get a lot of questions on what product or what service or what did you do for this symptom and things like that. So I'm here to help you. And I really want you to feel empowered if you are pregnant right now, planning to be pregnant, or anything like that. If you are in a fertility journey, I do have the baby steps program out, which you can check out. And that is all about optimizing your preconception health, which is super important, especially if you are somebody who's struggling in the area, maybe you're older, things like that. Okay, before we jump in, a shout out to recommend, speaking of hormones and women's health, they have this one product that's called Lady Plus. And it is a supplement that really works on libido, actually. So all the girlies out there, if you or women or older women, honestly, it doesn't even matter. If you're struggling with your sexual energy or your energy in general, your stamina, your libido, if you're feeling a lot of dryness or you're uncomfortable during sex, things like that, this is a really great supplement for that. I have this one, and there is the male version as well called Man Plus, and my husband loves this one. So definitely check that out. It is got vitamins, minerals, and traditional Chinese herbs in it. So it's all natural, all scientifically proven to actually help with that area in the body. So I really suggest diving into that. If that's something you struggle with, maybe, you're going through postpartum and it makes sense for you to take something like that, because your hormones are all over the place. Maybe you are going through perimenopause or menopause and you're also experiencing very similar symptoms. Again, that is something that you can take that can really help. The male version as well is really great for stamina. There's been a lot of men who have reached out to me who love it, who've tried it. So definitely check that out. And a shout out to Mimeo, which is comprised of 4 different biomimetic ingredients. These mimic ingredients or compounds, I guess, in our cells and really focus on longevity and anti-aging. So all my biohackers out there who care so much about this like I do, you definitely want to be on Mimeo. That's spelled MIMO. It is fascinating and it works really well for autophagy and cellular cleanup and renewal and things like that. So it also mimics the 36-hour fast, and we definitely want the benefits of fasting without, fasting that often, especially if you are in your fertile years. So check out Mimeo and check out Recommend. Both of them are on my website in the show notes, linked for you. Use my discount code BioHackingBrittany. It gets you the most percent off possible. I think it's like 20%. So you get to save. And I love giving discount codes. You know what? Actually, I love a discount code because a lot of the time I want the really nice products and I want like the nice supplements, the expensive stuff, the stuff that's proven to work, but I don't want to pay full price. So I love a discount code. I always have codes for you. Check it out and enjoy this episode. All right, let's dive in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to second trimester biohacks. All right, so here we are, second trimester, feeling so much better than I did in my first trimester. Holy smokes. First trimester was rough, especially the second half of it. I had nausea all day for about 6 weeks, and it was, I don't even know how else to word it. It was horrific. It was really tough. Physically and mentally, it was really tough. I talked about that in my first trimester episodes, and I talked about that in my second trimester realities versus expectations episode that I put out. So go back and listen to those. Those are really helpful, especially if you're pregnant or you're going to be pregnant soon. I really suggest kind of hearing different points of view so that you can understand what you're about to embark on or what you're dealing with. I wish I kind of listened to more episodes like that, to be honest, rather than like, how to build a nursery or like preparing for labor. Like those things are obviously super important, but 9 months of pregnancy is a very long time. It's a very, very long time. So, if we can kind of hear from women who are going through it, especially if it's women who have like the same values, women who are like try to be as healthy as they can be, mentally, physically, spiritually, all that type of thing, then I think it really just helps shape us to be healthier as well. So go back and listen to those episodes, please. If you haven't, I will actually add them to the show notes of this episode. So you can just like click and save and download. So it's super easy for you. Okay, let's dive in. Biohacks for this trimester. So this trimester, I feel amazing. I fully have my energy back. I do not feel how I felt during first trimester. Honestly, I kind of don't even really feel pregnant most of the time. And so it's great to have this bounce back, I would say. I'm not at a point where I have a super large stomach yet. I've definitely gained weight, and I will talk about that in my other episode, but it's not to a point where, minimal clothes fit or I'm having trouble keeping up in like certain workouts. Like it's none of that stuff yet. So there's like this sweet spot in second trimester that everybody talks about. And it is so true. It's like the golden trimester. Like you just feel the best, like you're glowing and you can somewhat sleep. And I just have all of the energy. So with all of this energy, and if you have that as well, and hopefully any negative symptoms you might have had from first trimester have kind of gone away, my advice, and the biggest thing I wrote down in my notes for this is like, take advantage of second trimester energy. Okay. Use it for more intense workouts, more intense exercise, longer durations, lifting heavier weights, doing things that are physically harder. This is fantastic for blood sugar and blood pressure. Okay, so let's rewind here for a sec. So first trimester, a lot of women feel very tired or nauseous. I felt both. And so, your lifestyle, your exercise kind of reflects that. Usually there's a lot of like walking, yoga, just like chill things. Second trimester, if you bounce back and you get that dose of energy like I have, seriously use it to your advantage. Okay. You don't know what third trimester is going to hold for you. Meaning you could get very large and in charge and be very uncomfortable and your fatigue could come back. Or, it might be hard for you to bend down and do different movements. And so then you're kind of limited in your exercise and your workouts. Second trimester, that doesn't really happen. So I would really encourage you. My biggest piece of advice is take this time to do the harder workouts. So for me, I've been doing like Peloton rides, 45 minutes, and I've been swimming. I'm going to get into swimming in a second, lifting weights, and just still going to spin classes And then I was also doing pelvic floor, the pelvic floor Pilates pelvic Pilates on the reformer at a studio. So I was doing like multiple, and am doing, because I'm still at the end of my second trimester, still doing some of those things. But I really went really hard into exercise during second trimester. And I really suggest you do so if you feel great, because you can kind of make up for that first trimester fatigue and lack of exercise. And you can kind of also offset any potential negative things that could come in third trimester. So really, really take advantage of it. Like I said, great for blood sugar, which we really want to watch. We want healthy blood sugar. You might be eating more carbohydrates. You might be eating more food in general at this point, but you can kind of mitigate that and help with that through exercise. And then also help with in the future when, you're eating more food in third trimester as well. And then blood pressure as well. So blood pressure is so important during pregnancy. I actually didn't know how important blood pressure was until I kind of got to second trimester with pregnancy. So if you have a midwife or a doula, or maybe not a doula, if you have a midwife or an OB or a doctor, they will always take your blood pressure at every appointment during your pregnancy. And if you ever have high blood pressure, that's a problem. It's a serious problem, and you can be labeled high risk. Now, there's a lot of people who don't agree with the label high risk for anything, and there's backlash on using it. And I kind of agree. It's kind of like BS at this point and all these things, but I'm not going to get into any of that. If you want to learn about that type of dialogue, there's a podcast out there called Birthing Instincts, maybe. I think that's what it is. I'll link it in the show notes, and they talk a lot about that stuff. But if you have this high blood pressure come up, it's a red flag. We'll just say red flag, and it's not great. And it can dictate the rest of your pregnancy. It can dictate the care that you get from your caregivers. It could be a sign of preeclampsia or other issues like that, especially as you get further and further into your pregnancy towards the end of second trimester and third trimester. So how do you mitigate high blood pressure? Things like exercise are pivotal. Hydration is actually really important as well, and electrolytes. And it can happen at any time. That's the thing too, is high blood pressure is not everybody even has symptoms of high blood pressure, right? So it could happen and you don't even know it. Then you go to your midwife and she's like, hey, you have high blood pressure. Now you thought you might be able to do a home birth, but actually, I don't know if we can because of this symptom. And it could mean that there's more risks now for your baby because obviously the blood running through you is at a higher pressure, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why I took exercise super seriously during second trimester, and I would highly encourage you to do the same. I am so excited to talk to you about a new range of products that I love from Recommend. Are you ready to revitalize your life, enhance your well-being, and unlock the full potential of your body and mind? Let's dive into their premium supplements, Man Plus Formula, Lady Plus Formula, and Clear Focus. First up, we have Man Plus Formula. Oh my gosh, I got my husband on this, and you should see these results. Designed for men who aspire beyond mediocrity, Man Plus Formula isn't just a supplement, it's a beacon of vitality. You can unleash your inner drive, optimize your natural energy, and boost your confidence with ingredients aimed at enhancing libido and stamina. What's really interesting about this supplement is my husband went on it and seriously noticed an increase in his libido. So much so that in the morning he was waking up happier, if you know what I mean, and just had more stamina and energy throughout the day. So he actually really, really loves this formula. It's got a bunch of vitamins, minerals, and herbs in it designed to really support men's libido, stamina, and drive. The Lady Plus formula is very, very simple. It can help enhance your sexual wellness, support hormonal balance, and revitalize your passion. I think this is super important for any women who are in that postpartum period or menopause or perimenopause, or any period if they're just feeling a little lower, not having as much libido or anything in that space. Filled with natural ingredients, and it's really crafted to enhance sensation and pleasure. and just promoting a more satisfying experience in general. Last but not least, we cannot forget about getting that mental edge, and you can use their supplement called the Clear Focus. It is a cognitive health supplement, and it is really great for mental clarity, and it features their premium ashwagandha extract, helps with the stress, enhance alertness, and supports your brain vitality without any fillers or artificial additives, which we love. So you can use my discount code BIOHACKINGBRITTANY for 20% off all of these products. I really recommend it. Check out the show notes or on my website. It is linked there. Use my discount code today. Don't wait, transform your health today and really enjoy supporting your energy, vitality, stamina, libido, and mental clarity through Recommend's premium products. So like I was saying, I did pelvic floor Pilates. This was phenomenal. So there was a studio I have been going to, and it is a reformer Pilates, and it's called like Mama Fit or something was the class. And it's actually designed for women who are pregnant or postpartum. So everything is geared towards the pelvic floor. Nothing is geared towards hurting you in any possible way or overstretching your body or anything like that. I would strongly suggest looking into something in your community like this, something for pregnant women or mamas, whatever it's called, that is geared towards you so that the instructor and the exercises you're doing are safe, because you really don't want to be going to like a typical Pilates class where you kind of have to modify everything. Now, mind you, maybe you can do that and you have an instructor who like comes over and changes and like modifies things for you, which could be great. But for me, like when I was going to regular Pilates classes, they're so fast on the reformer. There's so many people. And I know that I would personally feel like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up. Oh, we're switching to this like weird side lunge thing. Can I do this? Oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, this hurts. Like it would just be like not worth my time or my money to do something like that. So I would look into any Mama Fit classes, anything that you have like that in your community. In general as well, or, in conjunction to that, I started swimming during second trimester. So swimming is phenomenal. Swimming takes all of the pressure off of your joints and your muscles and your body, right? Because your body is now like floating in the water and it's holding that weight. So your stomach and your abs and your back and your spine are no longer holding this weight of this belly in front, which is great. Even if you're not like super big during second trimester, this can still be super helpful for you. And it's also a full body exercise. So I was doing, honestly, like I was swimming even now, like once a week. My husband would come with me and I would do not that many laps. Like I don't even know how long the pool was, but I would do laps. And so I would like change the type of stroke I was doing from like front crawl to back crawl to butterfly to, I don't know, all of these things. And just to get a full body workout in. And it felt great. It honestly felt great. And I would sleep so well after every time every time I go swimming, I sleep so well afterwards because my body is just like ready to go to bed. So that's another one. If you can, I would look into a saltwater pool. I don't have access to one. They're not indoor anyway, and nothing that's open right now at this time of year. If you have access to a saltwater pool, absolutely choose that over the chlorine. So there are things you can do if you are going to swim in a chlorine pool. There's things like I actually posted this like forever ago on my Instagram, but you can spray your body with like vitamin C. I used to have it. I think it's on my Amazon storefront, but it's basically like water with vitamin C in it. And you spray this on your body before you get into the chlorine, and it like neutralizes the chlorine when it comes into contact on your skin. And it can help like mitigate how much chlorine gets into your system. That's like in a nutshell how it works. I was doing this for a while. I haven't been doing this lately, but if you're somebody who is like really worried about chlorine, I would do that. Definitely shower after you soap, get that off. I personally decided that the benefits of swimming were outweighed the negatives of the chlorine for me personally, because I needed that full body exercise and it just felt great in my joints and my hips and my pelvic floor, my back and everything like that. So you can make that decision for yourself. Okay. Next, in line with pelvic floor. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to talk about pelvic floor physiotherapy. So this is so important. I started this during my second trimester, and because you kind of don't really need it during your first trimester, to be honest. I went once during first trimester and all of her recommendations weren't really helpful yet, essentially. And I wasn't feeling that good. So I wasn't really going to do any of her recommendations anyway. So second trimester, I have this pelvic floor physiotherapist that's really close by. And I would go and have been many, many times. And we would work on certain exercises and lengthening the breath, relaxing the pelvic floor. This was really, really important. I'm really happy that I took the time to invest in this. I had some health benefits that covered it, and then the rest has been out of pocket. And it has been really, really helpful. I feel like I was not actually connected to my pelvic floor until I started actually seeing a physiotherapist. So I learned to lengthen the pelvic floor when I breathed in, like belly rise, breathe in, and exhale, and belly lowers down and the pelvic floor tilts. It's really hard to kind of explain over a podcast, but there's lots of YouTube videos out there about it. I really, really suggest this. The pelvic floor, you don't actually want your pelvic floor to be tight. People think there's that old school narrative that goes around of being tight is a good thing. But in reality, it actually isn't. And you definitely don't want that for birth. You really want it to be relaxed. The pelvic floor is a muscle, which I also didn't really understand. It's a full muscle. And so we can train it to be stronger and relaxed and not tight. The same way you can train any muscle. Think about your calves, for example. Think about you do a calf day, you do a big calf workout, whatever that might be. The next day it's it feels tight, You actually can do something about that, right? So that's what pelvic floor, physiotherapy looks at. It looks at the pelvic floor as a muscle. How do we make it flexible? How do we make it relaxed? And so you do these exercises with this expert, and it's great. I really suggest that. I learned a lot. And if you have the means, if you have the access, if this is your first birth baby, I really suggest it as well. I also think it's super important postpartum. So this will be something that I will continue in my postpartum journey, because after you give birth, you really want to work on strengthening that muscle again, and also things like incontinence. So incontinence is when you pee and it's uncontrolled, right? So maybe you're doing jumping jacks and you can't control it and a little bit comes out, or you're laughing really hard and a little bit comes out. So that's a weak pelvic floor. So I will definitely be doing that after birth to make sure that that is something that I can strengthen and keep healthy. I don't know if I will have another baby, but I definitely just want to obviously optimize it if I can. So I suggest that if you can do that as well. Now, something that was really great that I got from that, which I didn't know about, was something called a pelvic floor wand. Now, when I post about this on Instagram, it's so funny, all the people who respond. So a pelvic floor wand, if you've never seen one, it looks like a sex toy, but it's not. And essentially it's in the shape of an S. Okay. And it's usually made out of silicone. And it's like a snake, it's that thickness. One end is thinner, the other end is thicker, that type of thing. It's the shape of an S. And what you do with this pelvic floor wand is you gently, and you use lubrication with it, put it inside yourself, and you start at the very top, the very end of your cervix and your vaginal canal. And so what you do is you start pressing into the wall and you slowly go around in a circle and you press and you press and you press, but not very hard. So what I was told is like you press as hard as you would if you were like to like kind of squeeze a little tomato, but without popping the tomato. So that's like kind of the pressure that you want. So you go around on your pelvic wall on the inside there, and you have this pelvic wand. You're pressing and you're pressing, and you stop once you feel a spot that's tight. And you're going to know, trust me, when it's tight, because it's sore. It's painful. Okay. It's painful. And so what you do is you actually hold the pelvic wand there on that painful spot and you breathe. And so then that's when you practice your pelvic floor breathing of long, big inhales where your belly rises and you're lengthening the pelvic floor. And then you exhale, you're shortening it. Your belly comes down and your pelvic floor tilts. And you breathe, holding that spot with the pelvic floor wand in you until it doesn't hurt anymore. It typically takes about, for me anyway, like 8 to 10 breaths for it to not hurt anymore. And what it's doing is it's relaxing and releasing that little spot on your pelvic floor muscle. So it's like, imagine having like a knot in your back, same type of idea. So you kind of do that. And then you say you go around the very end, then you push it in a little further and then you do it again. You keep going around in a circle, round and around. And then you keep going. Like, honestly, it takes about 10, 15 minutes in total, usually, until you can push the wand in so far that it can't go anymore. So it's like actually really deep in you. And there will definitely be sticky spots. Now, sticky spots, like the more painful it is, it basically means like the tighter you are and potentially the more stressed you are, and that your pelvic floor really needs to relax and release. So the more often you actually practice this, the better it's going to feel, the less tight you're going to be and less sore you're going to be. And it's just really, really great for relaxing the body, relaxing the nervous system. So I do it typically before I go to bed because it puts me in that zone of very deep breathing, very calm. Okay, I'm ready to go to sleep now, which I love. The other thing I will say as well is if you are somebody who struggles with sex pain, like pain during sex, this is a magic tool for that. I have found that every time my partner and I, my husband and I, Ryan, have sex afterwards, there's like no pain at all. There's no discomfort. There's nothing because it is fully relaxed your pelvic floor. Okay. So if that is a symptom that maybe you're dealing with right now, or you have before or in the past, this is such a great tool for you. I will probably use it even postpartum, like in the future, actually definitely postpartum, just to like help that pelvic floor, like tone and get back into what I want it to be, but also just to like help with any pain and that thing as well. So with the practice like this, it's really great preparation for birth. Because if you think about it, like I said earlier, like you don't want that muscle, that big muscle to be tight and clammed, like you want it to be loose and relaxed. And so this is a great way to do that and help with your birth so that your birth is, less painful. So the recommendation right now, I'm doing it like once every 2 weeks. It will increase to like once a week, third trimester. And then I think in the last month, once you hit like 37 weeks around full term, you can do it, every few days, every day if you want. And then my doula also said, like, even once you go into labor and you're in, what's it called? Early labor, like when the contractions are not, when they're so far apart and they are not, super intense, anything like that, you can even do it then to just try to get everything to like relax. So I strongly suggest that. I think my pelvic wand was like $50, maybe $40, something like that. You can probably get them on Amazon. I just bought mine from my physiotherapist. I would look at them and just like double check the ingredients. And if you're going to do that, definitely use like lubrication. Don't use a water-based one. You know what I mean? Like use a proper base. Oh, wait, or do you want the water-based one? Oh my gosh. Baby brain. I have to check which ones I got. I will check that and put that in the show notes. But definitely look at that and clean it, obviously, after every single time that you use it for sanitary reasons. Let's talk about Mimeo, a breakthrough longevity supplement that hacks your biology to help you look and feel younger. It was created by PhDs in nutrition from over 7 years of clinical research, and Mimeo was designed to mimic the longevity benefits of fasting in a simple daily pill. Not only has Mimeo been shown to extend lifespan in animals by 96%, but users have been able to take as much as 2.5 years off their biological age in just 8 weeks. How? Mimeo's groundbreaking biomimetic formula uses a patented blend of all natural metabolites that work together to help your cellular health from the inside out. First, there's OEA, which is a metabolic supercharger clinically proven to help control appetite and promote fat metabolism, so you can crush those cravings and silence food noise throughout the day. Then there's spermidine, the cellular autophagy activator, helping clear out cellular junk to boost cognition, clear brain fog, and refresh your cells. Next, there's nicotinamide, a broad spectrum NAD+ booster that's been shown to improve everything from metabolism to skin glow to immune health. And lastly, there's PEA, one of the body's most powerful rest and repair molecules that helps control inflammation, relieve discomfort, and enhance recovery so you can get that youthful energy back. Mimeo is designed to work like a super fast, super efficient fasting diet, but without actually having to fast. It's all about tapping into the power of your own biology, giving your body the cheat code to work its best, making you feel younger and healthier today. You can try Mimeo today. Use my discount code at checkout, which is BIOHACKINGBRITTANY, and you can get all of these benefits in a simple supplement today. Again, that's BIOHACKINGBRITTANY in all capitals. So definitely try it and let me know what you think. Okay, next thing would be, I didn't do this, but I wrote this down as an idea because I thought that this was a good idea. So during pregnancy, you cannot do any Botox, filler, basically any facial things, anything like any injectables. Some people do it. I have not done any of it. There's debate on what you can do, what you can't do. I just didn't even go there. And also, like, a lot of places simply won't for the liability of it. So especially if you're somebody who's already showing and you can't hide that you're pregnant, yeah, good luck. Like, so many places just say absolutely not. So what you can do, which I didn't do, but you can, is you can do a PRP facial. Now, a PRP facial is the vampire facial. And essentially it's like you take your blood, they spin it, they separate the gold. What's it called? Like a liquid gold. But basically it's like the platelets, plasma-rich platelets, and they take it and they put it on your face, they inject it, and it makes you glowing. And honestly, I have done probably like 10 PRP facials in my life, and it's been great. So I really recommend that. If you're looking to do anything that's like for your skin, if you're having like really rough skin during pregnancy, which I have not experienced, I would suggest doing a PRP facial if you can. Now, the only caveat is that you cannot use numbing cream during pregnancy. So, which is probably why I didn't do it. It is a little painful because what they do, like I said, is like they take your blood, they spin it, then they inject it. So like you can inject it like underneath your eyes. You could even do it in your lips, which I've done. You can do it in your cheeks, like wherever you think you need it. And then they put it all over your face and then they microneedle your face, right? But typically there's a ton of numbing cream on there, so you don't really feel any of it. Now, I, for whatever reason, don't really respond very well to numbing cream. So whenever I do anything, like when I've had my eyebrows microbladed, when I've done facials like this, whoever I'm seeing has to put on way more numbing cream than the average person. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I metabolize it quickly or like, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. Anyway, so for me, it was like just an absolute no-go because I just didn't want to deal with the pain of it. So if you're fine with the pain, if you don't care about microneedling, go for it. I think this is a great way to pamper yourself during pregnancy. And again, I also didn't have any skin issues or haven't had any skin issues yet with pregnancy. No acne, no blemishes, nothing. So it hasn't really been a priority for me. But I think if I was somebody who was dealing with that, then I probably would. Like I probably would go and get it done probably once a month or something to just like help rejuvenate the skin. So that's my recommendation. Because obviously you can't do Botox or anything like that. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is EMF exposure. So I don't know if I talked about this in my first trimester, but EMF is electromagnetic fields, and it's something you have to really think about when you're pregnant. Luckily, there's actually a lot of solutions out there for pregnant women. For whatever reason, it seems to be people care about it more for pregnancy. I guess it's just because you're like carrying the baby and like, I don't know. I think everybody should care about EMF. So that's where I'm coming from. But the amount of like belly bands online that you can buy to protect your body against EMF is like outstanding versus just like typical adult clothes. So there's so many belly bands out there. I use the brand Juunaday as my good friend Marjorie. It's her brand and she has a belly band. Super comfortable, super like just very modern. Doesn't look like like some sort of like weird diaper or anything like that. It's beautiful designs. And I also have 2 of her play suits that protect the belly. I really, really suggest this. It's worth the investment, especially if you're still in second trimester. Honestly, it's worth the investment anytime. But if you are, beginning your second trimester, you have a long way to go. Okay. If this is your first child and you want more children, same thing. I think it's super important to protect the belly from EMF as much as you can. If you're somebody who flies a lot and you get on planes, which you can do during second trimester and then third trimester, it's not recommended, but you need something to protect your body and protect your baby from the harmful impact of EMF around you, from 5G, from all of these radiation, these waves, like it's the Wi-Fi, like it's everywhere. So if you were to ever care about EMF, it's when you're pregnant. Or if you're like me and you always care about it, like that's totally fine too. But I would really, really take it seriously and not mess around with it. I think it's very telling that there are so many belly bands on the market, especially in like Asian cultures. I think that's very interesting. So I know that because I was going to release this line of EMF blocking underwear for women, and then I stopped because it wasn't viable and didn't work out. And I did so much research and I saw so many belly bands for sale in places like China, Japan, like all these Asian countries. And there was so much emphasis on blocking EMF radiation for babies there. And I was like, wow, like they take it really seriously. And so I would really, really encourage you, if you're pregnant, to think about this. Think about when your laptop is sitting on your lap, on your belly, right over your baby. Think about when your phone is in your pocket, connected to 5G, is your Bluetooth on? Like all of these things actually do matter. They do matter. And there is evidence to show it impacts our health. So one of the easiest things you can do to mitigate this and to reduce the harmful effects is use Juunaday. I have a discount code for all of their clothes. I think it's Brittany. Yeah, in capitals. So definitely use that. I love their clothes. And again, Juunaday is also the only brand I've ever seen that's modern. It's like made out of California, like LA. Like it's beautiful. Like it's not like, I mean, I guess I'm just like not creative or like not a designer whatsoever. So whenever I see the designs, I'm like, ooh, this is so nice. So I really suggest, doing something like that. And I would also think about like reducing how much you can fly. I actually get this question in my DMs a lot of women reaching out being like, okay, like, we're planning our baby moon. Like, do you think it's okay to fly? And I would say like I would do it as little as possible. So I flew once during my pregnancy and that's it. And I won't be flying again. And that was in January. And I was 3 months pregnant, 4 months, 4 months, like early, very early. And that's it. And that was my one condition. I was like, I will fly once. And it was because we had to fly out to look at houses because we're moving, buying a house. And so it was necessary. And that's all I would do. So if your baby moon is your only trip that you're taking a plane for, great. If you are planning to do multiple trips, I would reconsider. I've had to turn away trips. Unfortunately, I also have like conferences that I would love to go to that I'm not going to. You know, I live in Canada. And so all of the great biohacking conferences are in the States or in the UK. And it's just not even something I'm considering because I refuse to get on a plane pregnant. And also like that would just be uncomfortable and you're so like, I don't know, not sleeping well and then you get bigger and like all these things. So just be very mindful. Other things you can do, obviously keep your Bluetooth off, put your phone in airplane mode, reduce how many things are plugged in your room when you're sleeping. Always have your phone on airplane mode at night. Always. Don't even that should be I shouldn't even have to say that at this point. Like that should be the most obvious thing that you do. And then the other brand that I love as well is Leela Quantum Tech. They have products that help neutralize the EMF in the environment that's around them. So they're like home products. So it's all about frequencies. You can check them out. I have a discount. Biohacking Brittany gets you 10% off. And I have a couple of their infinity blocks throughout my house. Very powerful stuff. I did a podcast episode with them in January, I think it was. You can just search it online. You can find it. Very, very interesting. So for me, I'm just like, okay, let me just block EMF in multiple ways. Clothing, reducing exposure by turning things off, and having things like Leela Quantum Tech, using their blocks throughout my house to help change the frequencies around me. And that's all I can do, right? Like I can't do any more than that. I work online, I work from home. The reality is like, that's part of the world that I'm in, but I'm trying to take as many measures as I can without kind of going insane. So that's what I recommend. And the other thing as well, I would say for second trimester is hydration. You know, I think I did maybe talk about this during first trimester. Hydration is pivotal. It goes back to the blood sugar, the blood pressure, everything like that. You need to be drinking way more water when you're pregnant. I'm pretty sure it's half your body weight in ounces. That could be wrong. And then it increases once your baby's born and you go into breastfeeding mode. So really, really hydration should be a major player for you, should be something that you're seriously considering. I always focus on hydration, but even more so during pregnancy. And I know you start to have to pee a lot, and I know it's really frustrating and annoying. However, I think it is worth it and your baby needs it. I use a lot of electrolytes. I use LMNT. I don't have a discount code with them. I'm not an affiliate with them. I just buy them and I think they're great. And electrolytes are actually something that can help with blood pressure. You know, you're getting your sodium in, you're getting your minerals in that can help with all of those channels and, how the cells are functioning on a very minor level. So think about those types of things. I think that's really important. And that's kind of it, to be honest. I know I had so many biohacks for first trimester, but second trimester has been phenomenal. It really has been great. I really think that it is a blessing, and it's, I think pregnancy is kind of designed like that. It's the first trimester is the hardest, and then you get over it. And then I think second trimester is glory. And then third trimester is just kind of uncomfortable. So it's I guess I would rather have the hardest part up first. I guess. I don't know. At least that's how it's been for me. So thank you for listening to this episode. I hope it was helpful. Again, if you have questions about anything that I mentioned, send me a message, send me a DM, let's chat. I'm happy to help you. I can send you my pelvic floor wand recommendations. Also the lubricant I have, it's all natural. Someone sent it to me. I forget the name of it. It might be called like mochi. And I can send that to you as well, because you want to just be careful with anything that you're kind of like putting down there as well. So stay tuned for third trimester realities versus expectations episode coming out soon, and third trimester biohacks. Lot to say, third trimester is tough for a lot of women. You become very uncomfortable and there's a lot you can do, and there's a lot changing as well. And then I'm also going to be doing a birth prep episode separately. So birth prep is a lot and something entirely different than third trimester, like preparing for a birth. I am doing a home birth with a midwife and a doula. And so actually 2 midwives. So I will talk all about that, my decisions around that, why, what we're doing. And then I hope to do like a birth podcast afterwards sometime. I don't know when, I don't know how, what that will look like. But I love listening to people's birth stories, especially people I follow. So I would love to be able to like help provide you and guide you in your journey as well. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the show. We're sitting at the top 1.5% podcasts in the world. Would love to get to top 1%. And please follow me on Instagram at BioHackingBrittany. And thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to another episode of Biohacking with Brittany. If you're interested in finding the show notes or the sponsors for this episode, you can do so on my website, which is biohackingbrittany.com. Remember to follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active. My handle is at biohackingbrittany. And if you're interested in working together and you want to email me directly, you can do that. My email is info@biohackingbrittany.com. And I look forward to hearing from you and having you tune in next week.